My beloved child, are you weary? These past months have felt so long, haven't they? I have seen your perseverance. I've seen the tears you didn't let anyone else see. I've seen the moments you wanted to give up but chose to keep going. Not because you were strong, but because you believed there was still something worth moving forward for. And you were right. I have never taken my eyes off you, not even when you couldn't feel my presence. I was there in the simplicity of a shared meal, in your mother's anxious glance, in the unexpected message from a friend. These were my little letters to you, gentle reminders that you are never alone. In the midst of a world filled with noise and chaos, I have called out not to the crowds, but to you. This calling does not echo through busy streets or bustling squares, but it resounds in the quietest depths of your heart where only you and I reside. I did not call you because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. Before you came into being, I had written your name in the palm of my hand and shaped you according to a divine design that no one else can replicate. This calling is unlike any other, because you are unlike any other, and so is the mission I have entrusted to you. Do not seek validation from the world, for it cannot comprehend what I am preparing for you. My child, many believe that only the strong, the gifted, or the prominent are called, but I often choose the humble to reveal my glory, just as I chose David among tall warriors, or Maria Young, unknown girl, to bring forth the Savior. I look not at outward appearances, but at the heart, and in your heart, I see something precious the world cannot see. My calling does not come to mold you into someone else, but to draw you into the fullness of who I created you to be. You may think you are too small, too weak, too unworthy, but it is in weakness that my power is made perfect. When Moses trembled and stammered, I still used him to lead a nation to freedom. When Gideon hid in fear, I called him a mighty warrior. And now, I look upon you with the same eyes of love. You are not called to be a hero by the world's standards, but to be faithful to the unique mission etched into your soul. No one else can fulfill that role. It is a covenant between me and you. Open your heart and listen. My calling is not loud, but persistent. It does not arrive with thunder or storms, but with a whisper in your spirit when you pray. You may be walking through a season that feels empty, but in that stillness, I'm calling your name. Every pain you have endured, every scar, every moment you felt abandoned, these are the markings I use to shape you for what is to come. Do not ignore this call, for it is the key that leads you into the new season I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. My beloved, I do not call you to do great things in the eyes of the world. I call you to walk with me step by step, day by day. Your mission may not involve platforms or lights. It may be hidden faithfulness in unseen places. It could be a silent prayer, a small act of love, or quiet endurance through trial. But every one of these, when done in obedience, ripples into eternity, and I am waiting for your response, not in a loud shout, but in a whisper. Here I am, Lord. End of. Every word I speak is not by chance. I do not give revelation out of obligation, but out of deep love set apart for you. When I reveal something to you, it is not because you prayed long enough or lived purely enough, but because I love you too much to remain silent. My love transcends reason and exceeds every standard you've ever known. It is personal, undivided, unrepeatable, and beyond comparison. Everything I speak bears the imprint of a father's heart that loves you uniquely. My child, when I speak, it is not merely to convey information, but to draw you into deeper communion with me. Revelation is the language of intimacy, not publicity. It is like a father leaning down to whisper a secret into his child's ear. Not everyone needs to know. Only the one the message is meant for. You may long for grand miracles and signs. But remember, the greatest miracle is knowing that I am whispering to you right now, not through intermediaries, not through symbols, but from me to you. My personal love is not governed by your achievements or perfection. I love you when you fall, when you doubt, even when you feel unworthy. And it is that very love that is the foundation of all I reveal. I do not speak to impress you, but to heal you, not so that you might feel more knowledgeable, but so that you might know you are deeply loved. Revelation is not a reward, it is a quiet whisper from my heart, because I cannot bear for you to walk on without the light of my presence. There may be moments when you ask, why would the Lord choose me to hear this? Why give me understanding that others don't yet see? And I answer you this, because you are my child. Not because you are better than others, but because the bond between us is one of a kind. Just as a father shares his heart with the child closest to him, I share with you because I long to be near you. You are not a pawn in some grand plan, you are the heartbeat of that plan. When I speak to you, it is not to assign you a task, but to draw you near, not to make you work for me, but to teach you to live with me. And if ever you doubted it, remember the times you were at your lowest when you believed I had abandoned you. But it was in that very darkness that I whispered words no one else could hear. That is personal love, a love that does not come with noise, but with support, not to judge, but to comfort. And from that love, I will continue to reveal myself to you piece by piece, not because you know the way, but because you know the one who holds your hand. Keep walking forward, not because you understand it all, but because you believe that every word I speak flows from an unchanging love, my beloved child. Silence is not always a sign of doubt, many times. It is the highest expression of trust. When I entrust something sacred to you, I also test you through silence. Not everything I reveal is meant to be declared immediately. Some revelations only grow in darkness, where silence becomes the soil that shields them from the winds of doubt and intrusion. Silence is not fear-driven concealment, but courageous protection of what is forming within your soul. Do you remember Mary, my mother, when the angel Gabriel appeared and told her she would carry the Son of God? She did not rush to announce it. She kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. That was not passivity, it was mature faith. A faith that understands heaven's timing, cannot be forced by human urgency. Had Mary shared too soon, mockery, pressure, and skepticism might have shattered the stillness needed for the promise to be nurtured. She kept silent not because she didn't believe, but because she believed so deeply. She needed no one else's confirmation. Joseph, too, offers you a lesson. When I gave him prophetic dreams, he shared them with his brothers. Their jealousy was stirred, leading to betrayal and deep pain. Yet my hand was still upon him. I used even the wounding to bring him into the place I had prepared. But see this, some revelations need to be hidden in silence so as not to invite premature harm. If Joseph had guarded his dreams in the early days, he might have avoided many needless wounds. Silence can be a shield, protecting the seed until the day of its flowering. My child, there are promises that only you and I know. When I entrust something great to you, the enemy takes notice, but he cannot destroy what he doesn't know exists. That is why I call you to a season of silence, say no forever, but long enough for your faith to take root. Nehemiah, when burdened to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, did not announce it at once. He quietly surveyed the ruins by night, praying before speaking. That caution was the key to a successful beginning. So too, You must pray in silence before speaking what I have placed in your heart. Even I have walked in silence. The first 30 years of my life held no miracles, no sermons, no public acclaim, only quiet preparation. But in that silence, faith was forged, obedience refined, and the Father's will fulfilled day by day. When you keep sacred things hidden, you are following in my footsteps. It is a refusal to trade divine truth for cheap recognition. It is a choice for deep obedience. Trust that I will show you when to speak and when to stay silent for in my kingdom. Even silence has a voice. My beloved one, not every revelation I give is meant to be spoken. Some are reserved for the secret place, where only you and I dwell. The silence I ask of you is not concealment out of fear, but trust of the deepest kind, that what I am doing within you is too precious to be exposed prematurely. What is growing in your heart is like a newly sprouted seed, fragile, tender, and easily damaged if uncovered too soon under the gaze of others. Hold it in sacred stillness, for a rushed revealing may shatter what I am carefully refining. I know you have longed to be understood. You've wanted to share, to find agreement, a nod, a confirmation. But there are truths given from heaven meant only for you to treasure in silence. You do not need to prove to anyone that I have spoken. My voice alone is enough for you to move forward, even when no one else believes. When you remain silent, you declare that you trust me more than you seek affirmation from the world, and that alone is a depth of faith only those closest to me truly understand. My child, look within your heart. There is something I have spoken to you, and you have not yet shared it, because deep inside, you know the time has not come. That silence is a shelter for my promise. In the quiet, you allow my word to take deeper root, to breathe in my spirit, and to grow in hiddenness. Some revelations only gain strength when nourished by patience. When you keep them close, you are tilling the soil for my word to become alive within you before it is ever spoken into action. That silence is not passivity. It is the mark of a soul refined by faith, no longer swayed by emotion. The enemy will come, whispering that you must speak now, lest you lose what I've given. He will tempt you to announce, fearing missed opportunity. But the truth is, what is most sacred must be held in silence. The enemy cannot attack what he does not know. The world cannot mock what it has never heard. There is protection in hiddenness, and there is life in waiting. I am planting something holy in you, and all that is holy must be wrapped in reverence and guarded with awe. Your silence now is not a loss, it is the sacred incubation of what will bloom in its appointed season. So, my beloved child, when you feel the urge to share, come back to me. Ask me, Lord, is this the time? And if the answer is not yet, obey, not because I wish to keep you in the dark, but because I am hiding you in the light of wisdom. One day, when the time is right, what you have kept in secret will be proclaimed like the dawn, impossible to hide. But today, I invite you to treasure it, for your silence, if born of faith, will give birth to a life no one can hinder. My beloved child, I want you to know this is not an ordinary moment. Something is shifting in the heavens, not loud, not flashy, but unmistakable and full of power. The wheels of the heavenly realm are turning at a different rhythm, opening a season the world has never seen before. Doors are opening in the spirit, and long-forgotten promises are stirring to life. Do you sense it? The shift in the spiritual atmosphere, the stirring within your soul? That is my voice gently awakening you, calling you into a new time. This is a season of divine movement, not in the ways you've known, nor by the patterns you've expected. I am renewing everything: vision, purpose, even the way I speak to you. Perhaps you thought I was silent, that nothing was happening. But in the darkness, I was preparing every detail, like a sudden downpour that arrives without warning. What I am about to do will surpass every boundary you've grown used to. My child, this is not the time to slumber. This is the time to awaken your spirit and come into alignment with what I am orchestrating. You are not called to stand on the sidelines. This new season is not just for the world, it is happening within you. What I planted in your heart long ago will begin to sprout. Dreams you thought were dead will rise again. Promises you believed forgotten will return with clarity and force. I am calling you out of your comfort zone and into a land where faith must lead, not feelings. This is a moment that demands resolve. Either step into the new with me, or cling to the old and miss the rain of grace. My child, this transition is holy. It is not born of man, not of ideas, not of political or social movement. It proceeds from my throne. And when I move, everything else must move with me. Your spirit will sense it before your eyes see it. The old season will begin to show its dryness. Relationships, jobs, and habits that once fit will begin to shake. Do not be alarmed when the old starts to fall away. This is my hand preparing the soil for the new. The shaking is not to destroy you, but to lift you into the place I have ordained. So, my child, stand firm and do not doubt. When you feel everything shifting and don't understand why, that is the sign I am stepping in. Prepare your heart. As a farmer prepares the ground for sowing, be ready. As a bride waits for the call of her bridegroom, stay awake. For what I do will be sudden, but not random. I am bringing forth something new, and you are not merely called to witness it, but to partner with it. Step in with me, and you will see the glory of this new season exceed all that you have prayed for or dreamed of. My beloved, I know you long to see the full picture, all the details, all the answers, every destination. But, my child, I do not lead you with a complete map, but with light for each step. You do not need to see the entire path, you only need to see where to place your foot next. The clarity I give does not come all at once like a flash of lightning, but as a lamp illuminating small spaces in the dark. I do this not to make things difficult, but to teach your heart to trust me more than your need for control. I have not forgotten you. I am not withholding light because you are not good enough. On the contrary, it is because you are my beloved that I desire for you to walk each step with me, not ahead of me. If I showed you everything at once, you would no longer need faith, and you might forget your need for me. But I have not called you to walk alone, I have called you to walk with me. Every time you see clearly, it is because I opened your eyes. And when things seem clouded, that is the moment I invite you to hold my hand more tightly. My child, do not measure the worth of revelation by the clarity of your circumstances. There are moments you think I am silent, but in truth, I am speaking more clearly than ever, just in the language of stillness. In the waiting, in the small things, in the repeated, mundane steps, I am sketching the first strokes of the masterpiece I'm painting over your life. Faith is not the calm that comes from seeing the future. It is the decision to move forward when the only certainty is that I am with you. You are on a journey measured with precision. No step is wasted. No stretch of the path is random. Even the detours that confuse you are within my allowance. I am teaching you that true light does not come from perfect circumstances, but from my presence. And when you learn to trust me step by step, you will realize the most precious thing is not the completed picture, but my faithful presence with you through it all, because in the end, it is not answers you need most, it is me. So, my child, when you don't know what comes next, remember that I am still leading you. When you feel lost, ask me and I will give you light enough for today. Do not fear when you cannot see next year. Just walk steadily in the grace of this day. What you don't know, I know. What you have not yet understood, I am unfolding. And every step you take, whether hesitant or trembling if placed in my hands, will lead you exactly where I have destined, a place of peace, of purpose, and of revealed glory. My beloved child, I see the tears you cry when no one else is looking. I hear the silent sighs of your heart, the questions you dare not speak aloud. Lord, why must I endure this? But today, I say to you, not a single tear you shed is wasted. Not one moment of pain is without purpose. I am the one who sees what you cannot see. And in my hands, even suffering has meaning. Pain is not a sign I have forgotten. It is evidence that I am doing something deep within you. Some things are only forged through trials. Just as gold is refined by fire, so faith is made deep through hardship. Without the night, you would not know the value of light. I never cause pain, but I use it to shape you into my image. Like Joseph, sold into Egypt and forgotten in a prison, yet it was precisely there that he stepped into the purpose I had prepared. What looked like ruin became the gateway to blessing. And so it is with you. The pain you carry is not the end, but the beginning of something new. My child, do not fear your tears. They are the streams watering the seeds I've planted deep in your spirit. Do not rush to erase painful seasons, for they are the very pages I am using to write a story that will bring healing to many. You may not understand the purpose today, but one day, you will stand in the fullness of the blessing and look back with gratitude. You will say, if not for those days, I would not have known how close God truly is. I am turning what made you weep yesterday into the strength that carries you today. Do you remember David? He once fled, wept, and was betrayed by those he trusted. But those very seasons shaped him into a man who leaned wholly on me, a king after my own heart. His pain did not push him away, pulled him closer, and that is what I desire to do in you. Not to break you, but to deepen you, not to make you fall, but to show you that a true foundation of faith can only be built when everything else is shaken. So, my child, do not reject the pain. Bring it to me, and I will transform it into something precious. Let me use it to open your eyes, to remove what no longer fits, and to make you more like me. Do not fear the dark seasons, for my light has never left you. Believe this, after every sorrow, a portion of blessing is being prepared. And when you see the whole picture, you will not complain, you will praise me. For not a single tear fell without my care. I do not give you good gifts merely to make you feel loved. I give because you have been entrusted with a part in my greater plan. Every gift from heaven comes with an unspoken question. Will you guard this with your whole spirit? Blessings are not only joys, they are sacred responsibilities, calling for watchfulness and steady faithfulness. Some gifts I give are not for display, but for quiet cultivation in silence and obedience. The more I entrust, the more I require. The world often views blessing as ease, but in my kingdom, blessing walks hand in hand with the call to grow. I do not place what is precious into careless hearts. I look for those who bow low, who know when to keep silent, and who have the strength to say no to what is not of me. Being chosen is not merely an honor, it is a sign you are entering a deeper realm of faith, where shallow living will no longer do. And when you carry what I've given, you carry the weight of grace itself. You may already feel this stirring in your spirit that will not allow you to live as before. What once satisfied now feels empty. What others celebrate no longer gives you peace. That is not confusionite, is a change in the spiritual atmosphere. When I raise someone, I shake everything around them to fit the stature of their calling. If the blessing comes with a burden, it is because I am shaping you to be a gatekeeper, not just someone who stands at the door, but someone who stewards it. Be wise in how you carry what I've entrusted to you. Some revelations are not to be written quickly. Some opportunities are not meant for display. Some people, though close, are not meant to know everything. Faithfulness is not in doing more right, is in guarding well. Early blessings are as vulnerable as new sprouts. You are called to shelter them, to protect them in prayer, to walk slowly with the awareness that this grace is not only for you but for the expansion of my kingdom on earth. Know this well. The trust I've placed in you is no small thing. I see your heart, your caution, even the times you've chosen the hard road over the easy one. And it is those quiet choices that make you trustworthy to carry what is not meant for the unprepared. A great calling does not always make you visible to the world, but it makes you radiant in my sight. And like a lamp not meant to remain hidden, I will lift you up in due season to shine exactly where I will. There is something sacred the world often misses, that I, the maker of heaven and earth, to choose to whisper to a single soul among the multitudes. I am not compelled to speak. I do not need to share. But when I do speak to your heart, it is a sign that I have drawn you into closeness, into a place where I am no longer distant, but your Father near, leaning into your soul. Every word I speak is not merely a message, it is proof that I trust your heart to hold what many are not yet ready to receive. You were not chosen because you knew how to listen. You were chosen because I saw that you could keep what you heard. When I speak, it is not only to guide you, but to build a bridge between heaven and your heart. With every word I speak, that bond grows stronger, and each time you receive revelation in quietness, you are not just listening, you are becoming a trusted one in my kingdom. No one places treasure in a stranger's hand. So if I am speaking to you, it is because I have already called you friend. There are things I whisper to you that I say to no one else, not because they matter less to others, but because what I plant in you can only grow in your climate. Every heart is its own soil, and you have become the ground I have chosen to sow things that cannot take root elsewhere. Each time I speak, I do not merely give you words, I am planting pieces of my heart within you. Do not treat that lightly. Do not dismiss it as passing emotion or fleeting thought. Understand, this intimacy is proof of an eternal bond, sealed by my presence. Those who are close to me do not need thunder or signs. They know my whisper is enough. And you are learning to live there, where noise fades, and every sound from me becomes alive. In a world chasing after the voice of the crowd, I am teaching you to discern the whisper that is mine. That is a gift, but also a weighty call. The clearer you hear, the more precisely you must walk. The closer you draw near, the more faithful you must be. And the more you are entrusted, the more I call you to walk in holy reverence. Not everyone can understand the depth of this intimacy. But, my child, you do not need their recognition. As long as, each time I call your name in the silence, you still respond. I'm listening. What we share will continue to grow. Not because you know more, but because you love me more. And that love built through every kneeling moment, every quiet night when you sought me will be the place where I continue to pour out revelation, until you not only hear my word, but become a living witness of that very word upon this earth. My beloved child, not everyone hears my voice, not because I do not speak, but because not every heart is ready to receive the sacred. So if you are hearing me, if you feel a stirring deep within your soul, know this: it is the mark of a privilege given only to those I trust. This communion between you and me is not a reward for perfection, but the seal of an intimate relationship I initiated long ago. I speak to you because I see in you a reverence for the holy, an ear attuned in silence, and a heart that does not take lightly the small things I give. Every whisper of mine is not merely guidance, it is a commission. When I choose to share, it is because I see in you a heart that keeps secrets, a spirit that bows low, and a faith deep enough to carry what I entrust. You may ask, why doesn't God speak to everyone like this? And I say, because true communion is not about equal distribution. It is a fellowship forged in faithful seeking. Every time you sit quietly before me, every time you say, "Speak, Lord," you are deepening that connection not under the spotlight, but in the light of faith. What I speak to you is not meant for display, but for engraving. Remember, some words are meant only for those who dare to carry them in their hearts. Mary, upon hearing the angel's message, did not rush to proclaim it. She treasured it like a hidden jewel. And so must you when I speak. Do not be quick to share. Let the word sink into your soul. Become life within you. Become your direction, your very flesh and blood. Early announcements are not always wise. O chosen one, you have been given insight not to speak much, but to walk deeply. You may ask, Lord, am I worthy of this closeness? And I tell you, it is precisely your humility that makes you a dwelling place I delight in. I do not seek the famous I seek soft hearts willing to hear my whisper in the dark. Those who do not need loud miracles, but tremble at a gentle word from me. Remember, my child, I speak to you not because you need to prove anything, but because I desire your companionship. My voice is a gift of trust, and when you receive it, I will lead you into depths few have ever walked. Know this: personal communion with me is never a small thing. It is heaven bowing down to touch the earth. It is where your soul is met by love too great for words. You are not merely hearing, you are knowing me. And in every word I speak, there is the breath of grace and an invitation to go deeper into a relationship that cannot be replaced. Hold this as a treasure. Cherish every moment I speak. And whenever you sense me near, say again, I'm listening. For it is in that very place I will keep filling you with unfading life. No prayer spoken in faith is ever forgotten. Whether it's a whisper in the midnight hour or a silent cry amidst a noisy crowd, I have heard it. What you offered in simplicity, when you had no strength left, yet still chose to speak to me, has been recorded. Prayer is not measured by volume, but by the depth of the heart. And in those seemingly weak words, the greatest power is released. Hannah, the barren woman, prayed until only her lips moved, no sound escaping. The priest thought she was drunk, but I saw a heart pouring out its entire life before me. And I answered, so too with David. In the nights of fleeing, no temple, no orchestra, only sighs in the wilderness, yet those songs became psalms for generations. Space does not limit prayer. Circumstance does not hinder my hearing. And time does not fade the cry of a sincere heart. At times, you may feel I am silent, but remember, my silence is not forgetfulness. Jesus, kneeling in Gethsemane, was not met with a miracle from heaven, but it was in his faithful, quiet prayers that the path for all salvation was opened. Honest prayer doesn't always change situations instantly, but it always changes the person. It shapes the inner life, softens the heart, and reconnects you with the source of all life. Sometimes, you only ask for something small, a moment of peace, strength to forgive, or courage to take another step. These may seem temporary, but I store them as treasure. They are the record of a faith that does not seek attention. And one day, you will see. The prayers you whispered in private brought the most lasting transformation in your life. So never stop praying. Don't wait for eloquent words, a steady heart, or perfect timing. Just come as you are, with your truth, your weakness, your tears, or your gratitude. Heaven is still listening. Not a single word is lost. Not one desire is overlooked. And one day, what was quietly lifted up will bear fruit far beyond what you ever dared to hope. My child, there are moments when you walk in silence, thinking I've gone, that your prayers are lost in the void. But know this, in that very stillness, I am working quietly and powerfully. Not all of my actions come with thunder and signs. Some works are built in the dark where human eyes cannot see, but the soul will feel if it waits with perseverance. Every moment you choose to believe without seeing, you are partnering with me in preparing something deeper. Remember, the roots of a tree do not grow in the light. They push down into the soil, in silence, in darkness, and there, life is nourished. In the same way, there are times I do not show you results, because what I am doing is not outward, but within you. I am shaping a steadfast heart, clearing corners long untouched. Do not rush to conclusions when I have not yet finished speaking. I am the beginning, and I am also the end. My precious one, you may ask, Lord, why have you been silent so long? But know that my silence never means absence. Joseph was forgotten in a prison, but it was the very place I prepared him for the throne. Esther seemed like a nameless girl, but I quietly positioned her to save an entire people. O chosen one, don't let feelings of abandonment cause you to doubt. My purpose, every step, though confusing, is part of an eternal design of wisdom. When you do not see me at work, it doesn't mean I've stopped intervening. There are seasons when I'm clearing the path behind the scenes, before the curtain rises. And it's in those very seasons that your faith is refined not by obvious miracles, but by the perseverance of choosing to believe each day, every step, through unanswered prayers. That is mature faith. That is trust not built on evidence, but grounded in my nature, faithful, kind, and unchanging. Remember, when you find yourself in a place of silence, it is not that you've been abandoned, it is that you have been hidden. You may not see anything moving, but my silence is the soil covering what I've planted in you, allowing it to grow undisturbed. Keep your heart tender, your hands lifted in worship, and your ears attentive in prayer. One day, you will see, it was the seasons that seemed like nothing was happening that birthed the greatest growth in your spirit. There are seasons you've considered wasted, chapters you wish you could erase, but I say to you, I have used every single moment to write a part of a story you don't yet fully understand. No season is lost in my hands. What you see as meaningless, I call necessary. The years of waiting, the fruitless days, even the seasons you thought you took the wrong path, they are all woven into a plan shaped by eternal wisdom. My child, remember this. Joseph was sold into slavery, abandoned, and forgotten in prison. Yet those seemingly useless years became the very hallway that led him to Egypt's throne. Without the quiet years, he would not have learned the wisdom, compassion, and humility needed to lead my people. In the same way, Every phase of your life, even the foggy ones, are preparing you for something you do not yet see. But I already have. My beloved, at times you ask, Lord, why must I take the long way around? And I remind you of Moses raised in a palace, only to flee into the wilderness for 40 years. He thought he was forgotten, but I was teaching him to hear my voice in a place where no other voices remained. Without that season of solitude, he would never have heard the call from the burning bush. And so it is with you. If you don't walk through your current season, you won't have the strength to stand in the next. I know there are roads that cause you to wonder, is this truly God's will? But you do not yet realize how Ruth, a widowed woman who left her homeland in uncertainty to follow Naomi, was led by me to Boaz's field, the very place I prepared, not only to redeem her story, but to place her in the lineage of the Messiah. If Ruth had rejected her painful chapter, she would have missed the glorious one I wrote for her. So too, with you, do not reject this chapter simply because you do not yet see its purpose. Therefore, my child, whether you are at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, whether you are moving swiftly or feel like you're standing still, know that I am still writing. Nothing is out of rhythm. Nothing is beyond intention. Every phase, every season, every step is a vital part of the greater picture. And I, who began a good work in you, will bring it to completion at the right time, in the right way, for the right purpose. My dear one, there will be long nights when your heart feels shattered, and no one is near to understand the grief gnawing within you. But I am there. I have always been there, even when you cannot feel me, even when you feel like you're drowning in endless silence. Don't mistake my silence for absence. I have never left you, not for a moment. No distance. No darkness can separate me from you. When your tears fall silently on your pillow, you may think no one sees, but I have counted every drop. I hear even the prayers you cannot speak aloud. I understand the things you don't dare to put into words, because the love I have for you does not come from fleeting emotion, but from an eternal choice, and that choice never changes. When your faith feels shaken, know that this is the very moment I draw near, not through thunder, not always in miracles, but in quiet nearness, in silent strength. I see you when you try to smile through pain, when you choose to forgive while your heart still bleeds, when you keep praying even when there are no words left. Every one of those small acts echoes powerfully in the realm of the Spirit. I miss not a single moment. Others may forget, others may not care, but I, your Creator, cannot take my eyes off you. I guard your every step. I hear your every sigh. And you have never been alone. You may have thought I did not answer, but remember, not every prayer is answered immediately. For I don't just listen to your requests, I listen to your growth. Sometimes delay is the garment of protection. Sometimes my silence is the place where your faith is etched deeper. I do not perform miracles to satisfy temporary feelings. I perform them to cultivate enduring transformation in your soul. So know this: every moment of waiting is a moment of forming. Every silent cry is the warming of the great seed I've planted within you. I have not forgotten. I am holding good things, waiting for the right time to reveal them. My child, do not think that silence is proof of rejection. On the contrary, it is where I build the deepest relationship with you. In solitude, you learn to listen. In tears, you learn to surrender. And it is in that seemingly pointless waiting that your faith is being refined like gold in the fire. I love you too much to give you everything you want immediately, because I know what you need is far more precious. If you could see what I'm protecting you from, you would thank me even for the unanswered prayers. For my love does not exist to gratify impatience, It exists to lead you into maturity. O chosen one, when you feel like you've reached your limit, that's when I long for you to lean fully on me. Don't try to be strong in your own strength. Don't hide your weariness from me. I don't require perfection, I desire surrender. Cry if you must. Speak the truth if you're tired. I am not unfamiliar with tears, for even my only son wept, and every tear you shed has weight in my kingdom. They are not forgotten. They are seeds, sown in promise, and they will bloom in due season. My beloved, if you've ever doubted that I am real, that I am present, then look back at the road you've already walked. Who lifted you when you had no strength, who gave you peace in the middle of chaos, who whispered to your heart when no one else was there. That was me. Not a feeling, not coincidence, but the tender care of the one who has never taken his eyes off you, not for 1 second. I was there. I am here, and I will always be before you, beside you, and behind you. My love is not limited by time, emotion, or circumstance. It is love that never lets go. My beloved child, if your eyes could see into the spiritual realm, you would realize that you have never walked alone, note, even for a single day. There are unseen companions spreading their wings around you, angels sent from my very throne to guard your life. Not because you are more worthy than others, but because you have been appointed to a sacred journey, and those entrusted with a divine mission are always given divine protection. Every time you escape danger without understanding how, know this: it was not coincidence. I dispatched my angels to intervene quietly, faithfully, and with great authority. You cannot see them, but they are there at life's crossroads, in moments of mental chaos, in the midnight hour when you pray in silence. Angels do not seek applause. They only need your trust. My child, remember, my protection does not always look the way you expect. Sometimes I shield you from harm, but other times I allow you to walk through the fire, not to burn you, but to prove that you are guarded within it, like the 3 friends of Daniel in the blazing furnace. You are not alone. There is always a 4th walking beside you, and my angels never take their eyes off your every step. Perhaps you've faced accidents, loss, or heartbreak and asked, "Where were you, Lord?" But if the angels hadn't stood guard, the damage would have been far greater. What I have preserved, your natural eyes could never fully measure. Know this: there are battles you've never seen, yet I have already won them on your behalf by sending my heavenly host. O chosen one, there are times when you feel heavy, crushed by pressure, thinking you're about to collapse. But then, somehow, strength lifts you up. That is not just willpower, it is the quiet intervention of my angels. They don't come to make you extraordinary, they come to remind you that you belong to me. They hold you up when you can't even pray. They whisper peace into your mind when storms try to steal your faith. They are my watchmen, guarding what is precious within you, what the enemy constantly seeks to steal. Do not underestimate their role simply because you cannot see them. The unseen does not mean the absent. My beloved, when you pray, your words do not vanish into thin air. They are carried by angels, those who are appointed to serve the heirs of salvation, Hebrews 1:14. There are cries that have already been answered in heaven, yet spiritual warfare still rages to deliver that answer to your hands. I do not leave you to fight alone. I do not abandon you in deception, doubt, or invisible pressure. Angels are not passive bystanders. They contend for your heart. They guard your peace. They shield you from the unseen arrows launched by the enemy. Their intervention may be silent, but it carries the power to shake the unseen realm. You may ask, if angels are there, Why do I still experience pain? And I would answer, angels do not erase every sorrow, they guard you from being destroyed by it. I allow trials to strengthen your faith, but I always preserve your soul. Angels don't prevent every storm, but they help you stand in its midst. Sometimes they simply prompt you to open your Bible to the exact passage you need. Sometimes it's a gentle nudge that redirects your path at just the right moment. That's how they work, quietly, precisely, and never late. And if you are alive today, still standing, know this: it is not only your own strength, it is my grace and the hands of the heavenly host lifting you up each day. My child, the protection you carry is not of human strength, it comes from divine authority. The enemy knows you are set apart, which is why the attacks are relentless. And yet, you are still standing, still walking forward. That is the clearest proof of the angels I have assigned to surround you. While you sleep, they keep watch. While you pray, they reinforce. When you want to give up, they whisper, keep going. And when you're too weak to walk, they carry you in their arms. You don't need to see them to believe. You only need to know, because you belong to me, that protection is eternal. No force, no circumstance, no darkness can overpower my hand or the arms of the angels I've placed around you. There are things I long to reveal to you, but not everything can arrive in a single moment. Some promises are sown like seeds, needing time to take root and grow in the stillness. It is not delay, it is divine timing. True revelation cannot survive in a restless heart. I do not hurry when what I want to give is eternal. Understand, the sacred is often unveiled only through process. Rushing can destroy what is being gently nurtured within you. Patience is not punishment. It is the pathway that allows you to discern what is truly from me. For revelation is not just light, it is also readiness. And when the soul is not yet quiet enough, even truth will only echo faintly. There are secrets from heaven I reveal only in silence. Just as a farmer does not dig up the seed every day to check if it's sprouting, you must also believe that what I've sown in your heart will grow in its appointed season. You may not see anything clearly today, but do not mistake quietness for forgetfulness. I am working in the dark within the unseen places your eyes cannot reach. There are truths that must be nourished by faith, not by affirmation. And when you choose patience, you are allowing me to finish what I began. Nothing born in my kingdom in haste remains strong. Let your heart be unturned soil, so that revelation may bloom in its due time. My beloved, patience does not delay. My planet is part of it. I do not only want you to know revelation, but to live in it. Every day of waiting is a day of shaping. Every quiet moment is warm soil protecting the seed from fierce winds. You may feel like you've been left behind, but in truth, you are ahead because you are walking in alignment. What comes easily leaves easily, but what I have nurtured over time carries weight beyond emotion or circumstance. You will come to see, haste once cost you precious things, but patience has taught you how to preserve what is truly from heaven. Child, do not fear slowness. Do not lose heart when things are unclear. Light does not always burst like lightning. Sometimes it rises like dawn. Gently, irresistibly. I do not seek to astonish you. I long to help you understand. Sometimes revelation begins as the faintest breath within your heart. But if you hold it patiently, if you refrain from sharing too soon, if you pray instead of proclaim, it will grow, becoming a way of life no one can take from you. What is born in secret will stand strong in the light. Let me finish what I've sown. You don't need to force it to bloom, you only need to keep your heart soft. You've longed for a clear word, a definite answer, But revelation does not always come as a detailed plan. Sometimes it's a whisper that stirs your soul. I do not speak excessively, because I want you to learn to hear even the softest tone. I'm not just teaching you what will happen. I'm teaching you how to walk step by step in faith. Before the destination is visible, what matters most is not the information, but the communion between you and me, and that only deepens in seasons of waiting. In those times, I don't just give you what you want to know, I give you myself. My child, when you wait in silence, you are not losing, you are being given. Patience is the place where I pour out my anointing, the place where you learn to trust without seeing. The world says you must know now. Act fast. Prove immediately. But I say, be still and know that I am God. There are promises I have planted in you not to be declared right away, but to be carried like a mother carries her child. And when the time is right, what I conceived in you will come to life unstoppable. Let your heart be a hidden place of life, because what begins in secret will be revealed in glory. My precious one, I see what's stirring inside you. Part of you wants to give thanks. Part of you hesitates in doubt. But I have come to say this to you. Gratitude is not a fleeting emotion. It is a decision of the soul even when the body is weary. There are days when you feel there's nothing to praise for. But it is in those days that thanksgiving becomes most powerful. When you lift up praise in the dark, you are doing something the world cannot grasp. You are worshiping me with living faith. And that kind of faith is what I cherish the most. There are blessings I've sent that you haven't yet seen. And there are things I've withheld to protect you from what you do not understand. Gratitude isn't just for the pleasant hits, the right response to my unchanging love. A love not shaped by seasons, nor altered by circumstances. When you thank me in all things, you are placing me in the rightful position in your heart, not as one to be judged by fleeting feelings, but as sovereign. I have seen your tears in the night, and I have also seen those moments when you whispered, "Thank you, Lord," even as your heart was breaking. You have no idea how much that moves heaven. My child, remember this. My child, when you live in gratitude, you are shaping your soul into the image of the one who gave you life. Gratitude softens the soil where seeds of faith are planted. It prepares your heart to receive the greater things I'm about to give. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you give thanks, you will never learn how to walk on water. But if you can praise me before you see the path, you are telling me, "Lord, I trust you enough to worship before the miracle." And that kind of faith opens the door for me to work in your life in deeper ways than you've ever known. Gratitude is not an escape from pain, it is the staff that helps you walk through it. In giving thanks, you are not denying reality. You are affirming eternal truth, that I am still good, still faithful, still with you. Every word of gratitude is a stone that builds shelter in the midst of the storm. When you choose thankfulness, you declare to every force of darkness that your heart does not belong to bitterness or despair. You belong to the light. You belong to me. And in that place, you will stand firm. So, my beloved, whether under the sun or in the rain, in laughter or in tears, let thanksgiving never leave your lips. Not because I need to hear it, but because you need to remember, I have never left you. And not for 1 second have I stopped working in your life. When you give thanks, you are not just acknowledging what has been, but welcoming what is yet to come. And I promise you, what's coming will be worthy of every praise you offered in the dark. My child, there are days when you walk as if no one sees, no one understands, no one is near. But listen to me, you are never alone. Not a single step you take is missed by me. Not a breath escapes, my care. Even when you feel nothing, even when your emotions grow cold, my presence still surrounds you, not with noise, but with unwavering faithfulness. I am there in the silence you mistook for absence. When you thought I had abandoned you, I was holding you closer than ever. There are trials I've allowed not because I stepped back, but because I want you to learn to recognize Menno only in miracles, but in quiet trust. You've asked me, Lord, where are you? But child, in that very moment, I was the one holding your heart together. I was the one who stationed angels at the door you couldn't see. If only you knew how much I have withheld for the sake of my love for you, your heart would overflow with thanks. The journey of faith has never been an empty road. Many souls have walked it before, not to be idols, but to remind you that someone walks with you. When David hid in caves, when Elijah sat beneath the broom tree, when Paul was chained in a dark prison, they felt alone, yet were surrounded by unshakable power. And today, so are you. I do not let you walk through the fire alone. There is fire, but it will not consume. There is water, but it will not sweep you away. Because I myself am in the midst of it all. My child, remember this. There are things I will not explain right away, but I will never withdraw my presence. When your heart grows heavy, I've already laid a layer of comfort deeper than feeling. When your body is weary, I send angels to lift you. When you sit alone in the middle of the night, that strange warmth in your chest isn't from the blanket, it's my arms wrapping you close to my heart. Not all proof is seen with the eyes. Beloved, the holiest things are often only felt by a heart that's still seeking. So, my precious one, even if the path ahead seems long, even if some bends in the road remain unclear, keep walking confident that you are not lost. Every step you take walks in the shadow of mine. Every breath you exhale is filled with life I breathe into you. When you're tired, I don't love you less. When you're weak, I'm not farther away. On the contrary, those are the moments I draw closer than ever. And if you pause just a little, still yourself for a moment, you'll hear me whisper, I am still here. I have always been here. His one, my child. Time is not just passage, it is carrying you closer to the purpose I have prepared. Each new year is not mere repetition, but an invitation. Step into the new things I am preparing. A new year is grace note for the perfect, but for hearts willing to reflect, bow low, and obey again. A beginning is not an escape from the past, but a reaffirmation, I will continue in your way. Lord, and the past year may have left you with disappointment, moments where you strayed from my path. But I do not wait for you to get everything right before offering another chance. I give new chances because I love you, and because my mercy is new every morning. Remember Jonah, he once ran from my will, but I gave him a second chance to know when he was perfect. But when he was willing to turn back, and when he obeyed, an entire city was saved. You too, if you simply say, Lord, do again what you desire in my life. I will not delay in restoring you. My beloved child, do not let the guilt of the past year keep you from stepping into the new one with expectation. I do not require your perfection. I desire a tender heart. A new beginning is the reward of those who humble themselves, not because they are worthy, but because they continually return to the place where I've always been waiting. David, after great failure, cried out to me, create in me a clean heart, O God. And I answered, not because he came with pride, but with true repentance. A new year is not just for setting goals, but for restoring my rightful place in your life. Perhaps my will has faded in the background, replaced by your own plans. your own fears, your own priorities. But today, I am knocking once again. Let this new year become a new altar of place where you offer back what I've entrusted to you, and commit to walk, not by emotion, but by my voice. And if you do, I promise to walk with you, to go before you, and to act beyond what you dare to dream. Know this: no beginning is ever too late when your hand is in mine. No plan is ever too tangled when you allow me to rewrite it. A new year is not a number, it is a breath of hope, a gateway to restoration. And I, the one who was with you through the days behind, will also be with you in the days ahead to lead you into the place where grace flows without end, and where my will becomes your greatest joy. My child, some things pass with time, some things change with the seasons, but three things will always remain: faith, hope, and love. These are not vague ideals, they are pillars that uphold your soul through every season. Faith keeps you standing when nothing else does. Hope keeps the flame alive when darkness surrounds you. But love, my love, is above them all. It is the atmosphere that surrounds everything. It is not merely a feeling, it is power. Not just comfort, it is the foundation. When everything else falls away, my love remains unchanging, unfading. So walk, even if slowly, as long as you walk within the covering of my love. O child, you have believed through trials, hoped through wound sand. Now, I want you to rest in my love. Not the rest of resignation, but the rest of assurance. I do not love you less when you are weak. I do not withdraw when you wrestle with doubt. My love is not measured by your performance, it is proven by the sacrifice on the cross. You are waiting for a promise, a miracle, a breakthrough. But know this: what covers all of those things is my love. It will not disappoint you. It does not abandon what I have sown. And if you are weary in the waiting, it is that very love that is sustaining you in every moment. Look back at the days you thought you wouldn't survive. What kept you? Not human advice, not your own reasoning, but something deep, quiet, and enduring. My love. That love slipped through your tears, breathed through your weary sighs, held you when no one else saw, and that same love is still working, even if you're unaware of it. You don't need a visible miracle to know I love you. The very fact that you're still here today is the evidence, not because you were strong, but because my love never stopped covering you. My beloved child, faith may be tested, hope may grow weary, but my love never fades. It is the underground river that flows even through drought. When you find yourself losing faith, don't be ashamed, return to love. When you feel hope slipping away, don't search for reasons, seek my presence. It is my love that restores faith. It is my love that rekindles hope. Because what you're waiting for is not as important as what's holding you, and what holds you is not your own strength, but the unshakable love of the one who chose you before the foundations of the world. My child, there are things I will give in their appointed time, and things I will ask you to wait for, but none of them fall outside the reach of my love. The door's not yet opened, the dreams still silent, they are all being held safely in my hands. My love doesn't promise to shield you from all pain, but it does promise never to leave you in it. It is the cloak in the winter, the steady hand in the storm, and you will come to see that this love is not only the foundation for what you wait for, but the greatest gift itself. For the most wonderful thing is not getting what you asked for, but living in the constant, unchanging love of me. When the world shakes, anchor your heart in these three things: faith to keep walking, hope to keep standing, and love to keep believing. And of these, love is the greatest, for Love is who I am. Are you waiting for something from me? Then know this: my love is not leaving you to wait alone. It waits with you. It guards you. It prepares the very best for you. And on the day your longing is fulfilled, you will see, love didn't just bring you there, it walked with you every step of the way. So walk forward in gratitude, not because everything has arrived, but because you are fully, completely loved. My precious one, as you look back on the journey you've walked, you'll realize nothing was random. Not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer was forgotten. Not one moment of waiting unnoticed by heaven. Every moment you felt most alone, I was there. Silent, but not distant. Quiet, yet still moving. I sent angels to shield you, laid my hand upon the things you didn't understand, and gently nurtured the revelations you weren't ready to hold yet. You don't need the world's validation. The wisdom you carry doesn't come from clever reasoning, but from learning to stay silent when it matters, to walk straight when others stray, and to trust the right one. You chose patience when others chose complaint. You kept my words hidden in your heart when others demanded open signs. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you set apart. It makes you a vessel of life, a piece of chosen soil meant to birth what no one else can. My child, 3 things remain: faith, hope, and love. But love, my love, is the foundation of them all. That love is covering everything you do not yet see. It's waiting for you in the steps you haven't taken. It's holding your soul on the days you feel weary. This love doesn't require you to be strong enough to deserve it. It is always there to lift you when you can't go on. And it is this love that will bring every word I've spoken to pass, not early, not late, but in the right time, the right way, and through the right person. So keep walking. Don't worry about what hasn't come to pass. Just hold fast to what I have already spoken. Trust in my presence. Trust in my protection. Trust in my preparation. And above all, trust in my love. For if you hold that in your heart, then no winter will last forever. No door will stay closed forever. And no promise will ever be forgotten. My child, what I began, I myself will finish. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this: you are not just an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.